Welcome, everybody to Connecting Humans Live. Today, 2 minutes later than previous editions, because we had to first check out all the latest buzzwords and check out the latest news, because we have to be up to date, of course. And I welcome already with me live on the YouTube channel. Hi, Andreas. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Yourself, Pascal?
Well, I'm also doing good. I'm quite busy nowadays. There's a lot of buzzwords going around, and you have to figure out that you're staying on it, right? And
Yeah.
today we have also our friend, the cook, the chef. Where is he?
I think he had a little bit of technical problems. He said he'll come back in a second.
Okay, maybe then his telephone fell into the. What is he doing today? Oh no, it's. I think he said that he's going to do a club sandwich, right?
Yes.
So no excuses, unless he cut all his finger off. We will check that later on. So we're going to see. We have also a guest that's coming in a minute. It will be 𝗕𝗿𝘂𝘁𝗺, a very well-known specialist for when it comes to marketing and branding. She's from Miami, Florida, which fits perfectly into what we're going to talk about today, about the buzzwords, about all the stuff that's going on when it comes to what's happening in America right now. And there we want to know, of course, from firsthand how somebody like 𝗕𝗿 is going to explain it from her point of view. But of course, we also have to share something like this. Andreas, how do you experience the last, let's call it weeks, actually, of this race in brackets?
Well, I mean, with the election, I've been watching it the whole time because it affects a lot of things. It affects Europe, where I live right now. It affects my home country, Australia, as well, because we're tied so closely to the United States of America. And I mean, I'm Team Democrat all the way because I do not agree with Trump. But yeah, it's just been like sitting on my seat, waking up every morning and we're like, has Biden won? Has Biden won? And then watching him like flip those states, it was like a hallelujah. Oh, yeah, it's been a tad of a roller coaster.
I can imagine. When we talk, thanks for the segue. Roller coaster. Alexandre, finally you're here.
Yes, sorry.
Welcome. What are you doing today? I already said it, but can you make it more elaborate?
I am doing a club sandwich. Club sandwich is 3 layers of bread and everything that goes in between. And then you put everything you want in between. The classical one is lettuce, cucumber, tomatoes, some bacon, some ham and cheese. And then you cut that into triangles. We serve that with potato chips. And that's it.
Oh, that sounds nice. What are you going to put in it?
Do something American.
Yeah, well, what are you going to put into it? It's the classic one or the Alexandre Gamberoni style?
I'm going to put some guacamole. I'm going to put some goat cheese and 𝗕𝗿𝘂𝘁𝗺, which is something very Swiss. Kind of salty things, cucumber, goat cheese, so a bit of everything. It's a bit my recipe. But don't worry.
So a European club sandwich.
Sorry?
A European club sandwich.
If you want to, yes. A Gamberoni.
Yeah, I would call it also the Gamberoni, as there is always guacamole in it. So when Alexandre is doing something, it's always with guacamole. It's always in it. But that's okay. That's okay. Hey, Eric, how are you doing?
I'm sitting here doing like multitasking, making sure that we are visual and everywhere. So I'm doing fantastic.
Great.
Thanks for that surprise.
Yeah, and you see already that's a nice kind of organization when the founder, when the chief is doing the back office work today and is going to watch out that everything is done. So thanks, Eric, for that. That's being a nice role model. Talking about role models, let's talk about what's happening in America.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's
I love position.
Yeah, it's quite an experience what we are facing there, Alexandre. How do you see it? You're an international guy, if you can say it like this. You have roots all over the place. You lived in several countries all over the place.
Yeah.
You have friends in America. You live in Switzerland right now. How do you perceive that?
Well, I perceive that. I don't like Trump. doesn't matter if he's Republican or Democrat. I don't like the guy. I was really hoping that Biden took over, and my hope was paid. But right now, it's a chess game. It's a chess game, and some friends I've got in the United States are saying the same thing. It's a chess game. What is he able to do in 2 months he's got left? He can do a lot of jeopardy, like he started to do, or he can even go to court. And because you've got the Supreme Court, you've got some people that is on his side. So I wonder how things going to end up. Honestly, I wonder how things will end up.
That's very interesting. Maybe I want to give you a hard time today, of course, as I am in the lead to ask questions. That's when you say that you don't like him, and I completely can understand that. I can relate to that. But he's also that's still a political process. So it's not him only. There's a whole party behind it, and there's other people involved, and I don't know. How do you see that? That's actually, because of one person, or however all this is going on over there.
Well, it's not only one person. I mean, he's got the procurer. I mean, the federal prosecutor that says that he's allowing investigation. That's first of all, and there are some party that are doing that in a different state that are just in between, like Pennsylvania, like Nevada, and all that, and they are coming in front saying that there was some fraud. So. Remember, media are very powerful, so maybe easy to overturn. I don't know, honestly. Now, he's changing as well the people in the Pentagon, right? He's fired the Secretary of Defense and placed 2 of his allies into the Pentagon.
Yeah,
is that a coup?
Well, not yet, I guess.
He's not preparing a coup.
But when you and I really try to be neutral in that kind of way, which is of course very hard. As a person, I also have hard feelings with him being a really bad role model, not only for young people, the young generation, but also to a very bad leader when it comes to some things. But that's my personal opinion. But when you see that what he's doing right now, actually almost every candidate was also doing. So even Hillary Clinton was suing and was asking of recount and things. That happens actually almost every election over there. So why is it now this big fuzz thing about it?
Because he's unpredictable. The other one are predictable. They do that for the show. They do that because they would like to win. But he's like the other one. Is really unpredictable because you've got that narcissism that is quite high, and he thinks only of himself, and he doesn't like to lose, and he reacts like a kid, and a kid with that power could be dangerous. Okay,
Andreas, how do you see all this behavior and he's actually only doing not in when it comes down to it, and not with the. Let's not go into the behavior, so how he's doing it, but the facts, what he's doing, actually everybody else did more or less, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing is, like, Trump's done a couple of landmark things that have also, like, really made people not want to like him. For instance, if you look on the whole gay rights issue, within, I think it was a year of him being on power, he signed an executive order stopping all of Obama's work, saying like, yes, transgender and all this are now applicable by this one legislation that I can't remember the name of. And then Trump walks in, executive order, this doesn't count anymore. You're all back on, this doesn't count as discrimination. You know, like that's huge. And then, I mean, what was the start of this year? He tried to start a war with Iran, if I'm correct, or Iraq, one of the two. Like, yeah, and like he's so unpredictable. And the thing is like the only reason Republicans are still in power is because of the gerrymandering that's happened in America, where the voting is skewed to begin with. And they have to try and fight the election to win, because statistically the Democrats will always win now, because no one likes the Republicans, not even the world. Statistically, even, because I mean, Biden's now in the lead by 5 million popular votes. But if you look at the gerrymandering, Trump looks like he covers the whole of America, which makes no sense. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it is concerning. But, like, yeah, if he does try to fight back, I don't see Trump getting in power, because if Biden does what he needs to do, then yeah. I mean, there's also issues with Biden. Some people think he's a pedophile. I mean, there's a lot of videos that make it look kind of sus with him trying to kiss a girl on national television. So there's issues in both ways, you know. It's not like another. Sorry?
I mean, Biden is not clear, and he's quite too old as well. There is one of the a friend I've got in the United States. He's a bit kind of a, I would say not extremist. That would be a bad word to use right now. But he said the best scenario would be that Biden win and he's the president, and after 6 months, a year, he's got a stroke or an attack, and Kamala Harris become president. And that would be the best case scenario.
Okay, well, for whom? That's the question. That, of course, because I want to, as I am allowed to ask the questions today, I want to put things a little bit into perspective, and to ask questions in that matter. When you look now, and you said something, Andreas, but where I'm really interested in how you see that when you just look at the others, not at the other side, but you take that in consideration. And I'm really trying to be neutral. When you looked at, okay, Biden leads by 5 million, I get that. And when you look at the statistics, Donald Trump got more votes this year than Obama in his election.
Yeah.
Does that mean? How can you make sense of that?
I mean, that's because, well, the thing is, like, both parties are trying to get more people to vote. The concern is okay, what happened this year is Trump shut down so many voting stations. I don't know the number, but I know it was an exorbitant amount to make it so hard for people to vote. If you looked on the news during the voting, it said I had to wait for 3 hours to vote. And then the thing is that Biden, because Trump didn't trust the mail-in voting, he said, I don't trust this. This won't be legit. And then Biden was like, okay, well, if he's not going to do it, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to tell everyone to vote by mail. And that's why you saw Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan just flip in seconds, because he did the right thing, you know. But I mean, obviously, because everyone's saying, please vote to not keep him in power, Trump's obviously then going to turn around and go, okay, well, I need people to vote to stop this from happening. I can't just sit on my high ride, because you can't. It's not like Australia. In Australia, you have to vote by law. You actually get fined if you don't vote. So you don't have a choice. But in America, you have a choice. And that's why the numbers keep growing, I'd say, in that sense, because some more and more young people don't want Trump in power, and B, because of the more voting, there's more votes.
Yeah, that's also what I saw when you look at the statistics again here in that matter, that you can see also that there are so many first voters. I think that's the right word for it. So they are voting for the first time, and that's actually approximately the number by whom Biden got the popular vote, approximately. So actually, they put him over the line. That's very, very, very interesting also. So, but if the other, let's take that out, and if the other is 50-50, but I hear that Jeanette is here.
Yeah.
I hear that she is here. Maybe we invite her in. Hey, can you put her on the screen, please, that we can invite her? Hello.
Sure.
Hello, Jeanette.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Hey.
Good. So I'm Alex, the friend of BB.
Yes,
Okay.
I can.
So pleased to meet you. All right.
Pleased to meet you.
Down there, that's Pascal Strauss.
Hi, Pascal.
Hey, Jeanette.
Over there is Andreas.
Hi,
Hello.
Andreas. Hi.
Okay, and the gentleman down there is the host.
Thank
So,
you, Pascal and Alex and Andrea, for having me here. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's very, very nice that you are joining us, especially when we talk about the buzzwords, or actually the buzz phrases, or the buzz theme, actually what is going on this week. And not the whole world is talking about it, but a lot of things are affected by what's happening in your country. It's quite interesting. I'm trying to put everything into perspective, and I just said that at least at what I saw in the statistics, that Biden won the popular vote by approximately the same amount that there were young first voters. so that they transported him over the finish line, if you want to. But if you take them out and then the rest is 50-50, what does that mean?
Well, first of all, I believe that the country is very and deeply divided. It's or either white or black, or now it's red or blue. It's not gray in the middle. No, like before, 4 years ago, that we have, all beautiful color. It was a rainbow of colors. Right now, it's just two parties, two ideas, very contrast one from the other. So if you don't believe in something, you get enemy with the people that believe what you don't believe. So you can see now there is family divided, friends like they don't talk anymore. Now the Thanksgiving, the upcoming holidays coming, you will see all these fights over dinner within the family. So it is kind of sad that everybody's holding their own through. Everybody have the facts. Everybody have, something to say. And now with social media, you can say whatever and you can share whatever without any facts, without any proof, which is happening right now with the election. Like, there's a lot of claim of fraud, but no proof. So people are saying whatever they think they can say. So it's kind of sad. It's very sad to see, how this beautiful country built by immigrants, it's still divided right now. It's sad.
Yeah, I can imagine. I have also some friends, and one wanted actually to join this evening, but he was then last minute. He had to focus on something else. He lives in Georgia, and he's the only black guy in a white community. So he's also saying, okay, that's right now there is something that changed. Mm-hmm. That's a feeling. That's an emotion. It's, that's not backed up by facts or whatsoever. It's not that there happens something, but it's emotions, and that's that's triggering a lot of people. That's also what I hear. Do you think, and maybe that's something where Alexandre and Andreas can also give their view on it, and how do you see that? How you can put that into perspective? Do you think that this whole events that happened before the election, so I'm not talking about COVID, I'm talking about, for example, the George Floyd incident and so on and so on, that had an influence on what's happening right now?
Definitely, I believe so. I definitely believe so, because especially within the African American community, is the statistics that they don't vote that much. You were talking about, the right to vote, and in Australia is mandatory to vote. I'm from Panama, and you don't have to register. You're allowed. It's a privilege or a right to vote. Here, the system is a little bit more strict. You have to register first, and then request this time your ballot and all of that. But I think that the African American community, after everything that happens in Minnesota, that was a good call for them, to really get involved in the community, get involved in politics, in social injustice, and to really have a voice. So I think that was a good trigger for them to go out, and not only for them, because it was a whole movement. And you see a lot of my millennials that you were mentioned before, Pascal, that they really run finish line, photo finish. Here he is, my vote, because it's important for me. It's important the climate change. A lot of things that were very important, that are very important for them. So yes, I believe that triggers something very positive and increase the voting practice in this country.
Mm-hmm. How do you see that, Andreas or Alexandre?
If I can add something, I totally agree with you, Jeanette. But if I can add something to that, it brought an awareness that people can make the change.
Definitely.
Before it was, the political party, the Republican and the Democrat, they are doing the whatever that is. But with what happened and these movements, Black Lives Matters, and before that as well with the Me Too, etc., all these movements show that the people can say something and can take action as well. And they figure out, especially the young people, you were totally right when you say that, the young people figure out that, yes, they can do something about it. And yes, they are doing. So there's a lot of hope here. There's a lot of hope.
And if may add something a little bit more to this conversation, I believe that I'm Generation X. So I believe that really the millennials have more voice, more power. They're not afraid, or who is going to say, my neighbor or my parents. They don't care. They just say it. They cheers. And look fantastic.
Oh, great, Alexandre. Club sandwich.
It's kind of lunchtime here, so good timing.
Gamberoni.
Do you want some?
I would
Yeah,
love
just FedEx it.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, I believe that generation have a very powerful impact in our society now, everywhere.
Then maybe Andreas, because I don't know if you know that or if you knew that, but I read it and I heard it multiple times that actually since 4 years that Black women were making most of the noise. So the mothers, if you like to, or the sisters, that they were making most of the noise and most of the groundwork for the party, no matter who is going to be the Democratic candidate, that there is a movement. So even before the George Floyd and this whole things came to the surface, let's call it like this, because that's what's really happening, because these things were happening all the time. That came to the public and came to the attention of so many. How can you then, bring that into balance? How do you see that?
Well, I mean, look, first thing, you can't mess with a mother's protection to begin with. That's a force that's unstoppable. And I mean, in America, Black lives are, in some states, or maybe a lot, are not very treated well in comparison to some events that have happened, from George Floyd to 2016 and before to even, Martin Luther King. But I mean, it makes sense that Black women are the ones kind of leading the charge in the background, because you can't, the moment they lose their kid to something like a policeman shooting them because they faking a gun, or because they're on their neck for 10 seconds, or any other plethora of issues that have ever arisen, to me, it makes perfect sense, honestly, that, Black women are taking the charge. And I mean, we've had always like Michelle Obama and Oprah Winfrey, who have just been these massive, like, pinnacles of communication for these people, like, you think of a Black woman, in my opinion, first two people I think of, Oprah Winfrey and Michelle Obama, done.
Michelle.
And and
Beyonce,
and Beyonce, yeah.
But if I can add something to that, mothers, in the history of the United States, women have been bringing the change. The suffragettes at the beginning of
suffragettes,
started it. Who started the civil rights? I mean, what was the incident within the civil rights? That was Rosa Parks.
Mm-hmm.
So Rosa Parks was in the middle of it. And if you see in the history of the United States, the woman had a very important role in the change.
Right.
And they realize what is happening now in the United States, they need to bring a drastic change. Because how it works now, to have two parties, the way they vote, etc., doesn't work.
Okay, then I have a follow-up question. I told you that I will not leave. I put you on the hot seat today, and that's what I told you already in the beginning. So I have a question for you. If women bring the change, and I see all these clips where you have these, and I know maybe the audience knows that, but Jeanette will know it. These Karens. So the women that they call Karen in America. So the women that are where in America, it's a sign of political party if you wear a mask or if you don't wear a mask, where they are really making a fuss out of it, really a big fuss out of it. They are also women. They are also mothers.
Mm-hmm.
So they could likely also make a change in the other direction. What do you make out of that?
Well,
Alexandre, yeah.
The
Alexandre
problem.
He's eating so that he doesn't respond.
Jeanette, caballero en todo, por favor.
I'm going to help you. here. I believe that even the mothers are mothers, and we're powerful women, it's the political propaganda. So it doesn't matter if you're a woman, if you're a girl, if you're a mother, if you are whoever you are, it's what you're hearing and what you believe. So it doesn't matter. So even though you have a powerful mothers on this party that believe that you have to wear a mask because as the experts said and the scientific and CDC and everybody in the world is saying a mask will protect you, they're going to do it. But if you don't believe in science or in mask, or you're following somebody that is not following those rules, doesn't matter. You're going to do whatever you believe.
Okay. I want to, Alexandre, yes?
If I can take the example of what I've given as the suffragette and Rosa Parks and all that, there were women who didn't want to vote. Because at a certain point, you should not forget that some were conditioned since childhood. When you're going to grow up, you have to look for a husband, you have to do kids, you have to maintain the house, etc. And bringing that drastic change into their life, no, they don't want it. Right? So there is education, there is tradition, there is conditioning of a woman, and not only in the United States, everywhere.
Okay,
Everywhere.
so what to not sum it up, but how I understood it right now, what you say is, okay, there are powerful women on everywhere. Actually, let's not say on both sides, because that's maybe not the correct. Then we're speaking in the same language. So there are a lot of powerful women. And then Jeanette, you said something about it's propaganda. Yeah, that's or it's this media influence. And there I have a question. And I know maybe that's a tough one. So maybe everybody can make up their mind and also say something. So then I have a question. This division that is observable right now, is that because there is the media involved a lot and making everything like this? Or is it that it was always sleeping under the surface, and with the example that Trump gave officially as the president, visible to everybody, that it is okay to be like this? Was it that, or was it the media that's brought this up? So that's also where have a question mark, at least. What do you think?
If I may, I do genuinely believe it's the media, because I mean, as you said, Jeanette, 4 years ago it was nice and colorful because Bernie Sanders was running as an independent, if I'm correct. Am I, please?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, Bernie Sanders was running, and then media has changed the whole system, because you can target your ads to specific people, and ads change people's ideas. It's subliminal messaging. Even if you see the same ad 20 times, first 20 times you're not going to care. But if you keep seeing it and seeing it and seeing it and seeing it and seeing it, it's just in the back of your head the whole time, and then you're like, oh, maybe I should look into this concept / topic, And with what Facebook and Instagram can do is just insane for that matter. I mean, I know I look up stuff for university, and then I've got this ad for the next 3 months, and I'm still looking at it because I'm like, the ads are still there. It's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think media has had a massive push into really dividing America.
Okay, how do you see that?
As you say, it is a push. Okay, I mean, everything since, I would say, the beginning of the United States, right? There is this segregation. I mean, the Civil War, everything. So there is this, it is always there, right? It is just, people are linked just by something very fragile. What did the media is to explode all that. And media, that's not for nothing we call it the fifth power. They can do anything they want. They can do anything they want. And if you know now, all the medias, at least in the United States, but I'm pretty sure in the world, are owned by lobbyists, by a company who wants to influence others. So that's why, I mean, if you ask, I asked my student the other day, do you believe in what the media are saying? 95% of them say no. So where do you get your information from? Well, they get that from the social network, but that's even worse.
Mm-hmm.
That's even worse. There is not that investigative, that critical thinking anymore. Because, as you said, Andreas, they are bombarded with a lot of information all the time.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I think that the overload of information make the media not being believable and doing the catastrophe that they are doing.
Okay. Do you think they
Yes.
do that on purpose, or is it let's call it once you're in the run or in the wheel, then you start running with it. It's like a stampede, let's call it like this, huh? That you start to run with it. What is that?
Can I again?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Then later on, I'm of course interested in what Jeanette is saying as a American citizen.
There is a psychological phenomenon here. Okay, the human mind is extremely fragile, powerful in a way, but fragile as well. And I ask to students, because I talk a lot about students with that, and I say, what is the finality of it? Why people are doing that? And honestly, there is no answer. Is when people start to have power and they do not know how to handle the power, they lose it. And whatever they do is not rational anymore. And lose, having that power in your hand, and you can see that you do this and things happen, it takes away your rationality. And you do with whatever you want, you lose. I mean, 𝗕𝗂𝘇 in France has been like that. I mean, the guy thought he was in all power, but no, he's not. He's not above the law. Yeah. So there is this discrepancy, this separation between reality and what they perceive of the world, that they are almighty.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How do you see that, Jeanette? Was it always there, or yeah?
I believe that as Alexandre and Andrea said, that it was always there. Media per se was the tool, was the channel to put it out there. Plus, you have a president that he doesn't care what he said, and he allowed this behavior to happen. And now it's okay to be like that. It's no respect, it's no facts. And social media now is what is mandate, our criteria. We got all the information from social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn,
Twitter.
And if you watch CNN or MSNBC versus Fox, you are like living in the two different countries. It's amazing. So yes, the media have a lot of an important role here in this communication, and this is what is happening right now. But also you have a leader that allowed that to happen. So that thin fracture that was there for all these years, now it's open. And it's open and everybody can say everything. And I would really recommend to watch, if you don't watch it already, The Social Dilemma on Netflix. And it's so simple how they explain it.
Yeah.
How they work in our mind, as Andrew said, with our psychology, like how they trigger all of this thought and behaviors, because we're so fragile. And, it's no facts, it's nothing, it's just like, and by the end, it's a commercial interest. The more you see this channel, is the more ads you can get, and the more you can pay, and the more your brand or your product is going to be watched.
So do you think? So when you say that, and just to take something what is in that documentary, do you think that also for the other media, let's call it then CNN and Fox News, which is then the two sides, let's call it like this, or MSNBC and Fox News, that for them also the people that watch is the product?
Definitely.
So that they influence these people then to stay also on, and they just need their attention to the channel, and they do whatever they think is necessary to keep them their attention and they're watching. Yes. Yeah.
Exactly.
I believe so. It is a commercial interested. For example, if you just believe what CNN and MSNBC said, you're not going to watch Fox because you don't believe what they say. So you're going to keep watching. So the advertiser, I'm an advertiser, I'm a marketer. And I buy media also based on my target, demographics, age, all of that. And yes, if you believe on this, I'm going to advertise this kind of products or campaign. And if you believe this, I'm going to do this. Yes, there is a cross-mix communication, because the same products are advertising in both channels. but you're gonna keep watching what you believe, what is interesting for you and goes with your values and goes with your heart, to be honest with you.
How can we, just go, Alexandre.
If I can add something to that, for 4 years, we had a guy that is, take it or leave it. I mean, the guy is always on a social media, he's always on a media. And he said for 4 years, to all medias, you are liars, you are crooks, you don't know how to do your job, and blah, 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 blah. And as Andreas says, if you repeat again and again and again and again and again and again things, it stays in your mind. And people tend to believe that now media is bought by one party or another. But the funny thing that when media are doing their job, which is investigating resources, back up with evidence and whatsoever, these kind of documentary, if they're not supported by Netflix, they are cancelled.
That's true. Unfortunately true.
Okay, and that's what is interesting as well. When people come with the truth and with evidence, back up with the evidence, people, we cannot talk about this because no, that doesn't suit us. And that is something interesting as well.
But when we talk on that scale, but because when you everything what you said right now, and when you think it to the next step, so that we are and hopefully will not be over the brink, but we're on the brink of two worlds clashing together right now. It's 75 million voted for this, and even more than Obama voted for Obama were voted now for Trump. So there's a huge amount of people that voted also for him. And when the media is also influencing that by a lot, or let's call it emphasizing or making it bigger, these kind of movement feelings, how can we invite the media to not do it?
Not possible.
It's unfortunately, I mean, you see it in many TV shows. If any type of newsroom's on, it's like your story isn't going to sell. They only care if the story sells, and that's the gist of the situation. That's how media companies work, because somebody still has to pay their bills.
Exactly.
And if your stories aren't interesting,
that was Jeanette said. I mean, it's all matter of commercial. It's not matter of money at the end of the day. If I've got audience is very high, I sell anything. But if my audience is down, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So does that mean
by the end it's a commercial interest? By the end, it's a commercial interest.
Exactly.
Money talks, as they say.
The only thing that could happen, okay, but for that, and sorry the term, he needs a lot of balls, is to dismantle how America is today, to rebuild it in a different way, that you have not a two dominant party, but you've got like at least 3 different parties. Because otherwise you will always have this mess. And in the 80s that not happened because information was kept through newspapers, TV or whatsoever. Today with internet, it's all over. I mean, what Trump did starting his 4 years, starting with Twitter, no president did that before. And he was the one who entered in social media and put politics in social media.
Well, that will be most likely one of the reasons why he's going to open up his own media center after.
He already had.
Yeah, I think he will do it like his own Fox News. He will then call it Trump TV or however, so that he can rerun in 4 years. But that's maybe only my gut feeling. But the question is, I hear a lot of fatality in what you say. Oh yeah, the first reaction from Alexandre was, yeah, you cannot do something. And also Andreas was saying, and also Jeanette. So does that mean right now, when I just just make a prediction for the next 10 years, because everything what is in America comes to Europe, does that mean that I have to start buy guns now and put my cellar full of beans and stuff so that I can live for 2 weeks, that there's civil war everywhere coming because we cannot do something, because the media they have to earn money, and this is why I don't really get it. Can I ask you please to share an empowered version of
the light by the end of the tunnel.
Yes, exactly.
There is light, Andreas.
So,
Jeanette, or Andreas, whoever wants to enlighten us.
I mean, it takes the people, I mean, that's what media is selling to. That's what Fox News, CNBC, and I don't know the other American news channels. I'm sorry.
CNN.
CNN. There we go. I was about to say BBC, and I'm like, no, that's a different country. But yeah, that's what it. But it still takes the people to uprise. I mean, it's taken what 4 years, because that's how the elections work, for enough momentum to get Trump out of power. But if it takes enough people to stand up and basically almost say, like, wake up, sheeple, the news is stupid, you're listening to the wrong things, then there is a light at the tunnel. But it takes a lot of commitment and a lot of effort, which I'm sure we're all willing to put in the groundwork, because I genuinely do not like reading 5 news sources for the same story to find all ends of the point. Because I know that if you look at one news article in Australia, and then I have to look at the news in what they reported in the United Kingdom and America, and I'm like, that's why it was so negative in Australia. Now I understand, you know?
Yeah. The other keyword, education.
Education is another one else, yes.
We need to educate the young people, because I strongly believe in that. The young people are the future. And we have to educate them in a way that they should not take for granted whatever they hear, whatever they say. They have to investigate. They have to use critical thinking. And the funny thing that from the elementary and the high school, they don't use critical thinking. They squanch it. And after, when you get to university, you have to start to have that critical thinking. We should start that from the very beginning, elementary school.
And not only in schools, education starts in your household, with your parents, with your grandmother, with your aunts, and uncles and brothers and sisters. So start in the house, and then you go to high school or college, and you keep educating yourself. So yes, I believe education is key in both arenas, and also to look for those facts, especially now. You cannot believe everything you read from John Dean that is saying something about without any facts, any proof. So true journalism has also to focus in the truth and in the facts. The problem is also who holds the truth. You, me, it's so difficult. So yes, there is a light by the end of the tunnel. I believe so. And hopefully in January, if Trump finally decided to concede, we're going to have a smooth transition and start, a new chapter of this beautiful country. The problem is also that he have all these supporters, including the Secretary of State, Pompeo, saying, it's going to be a smooth transition to Trump's second term. So that was so shocking yesterday to hear from him. So how come the Secretary of State it's supporting this guy and supporting his ideas of fraud with no proof? Where is the proof? Prove me, and then we're going to believe.
But it will not, even if Biden's going to win. Let's say he's win in January. He is the 46th president. If the Democrats does not change anything in the system, how it works now, in 4 years, we're going to have the same trouble.
Yes. And I don't believe that Biden is going to run again because it's going to be too old. But I believe also that, as you said, Alexandre, that they have to change the message a little bit. Mm-hmm. And they have to really try to combine a good message. Again, advertising 101, marketing 101 is about the message and how you communicate that message and the tools and the channels that you use to communicate that message. And who is going to say it also has to be a reportable person, a person with good reputation, good everything. So people believe again in that person. And consequently, people are going to believe in media because it's a circle. It's a circle.
How can the circle? And I have then the last 3 parts maybe because we're 12 minutes before the end of the show. When you say this now, this can also be. Just imagine now that Trump is really going to make his own media, and his followers, 70 million people, believe him already. and he has this channel to influence.
Mhm.
That's, of course, also can be a huge influence.
It is
Then-
a titanic effort.
Yeah,
But
I don't think it's 70 million people though.
with the Titanic drawn.
he had 70 million people that voted for him.
Yeah, but they voted for the party, not the man. That's the way it always
No.
works.
Yeah, but they
I'm not
voted
too
for
sure.
him.
Not true here.
I mean, in Australia, I did not vote for the man that was going to be in power. I voted for the party. I voted for Labour because I didn't like either of the people that were running at the time. I hated both of them. I didn't. They both had their own issues. One of them was either in budgie smugglers, or the other one was getting his fingers in trouble in Canberra. You know, but I voted for the party. That's how I vote, because I don't really have much
Now-
thoughts about the man.
And now that you mentioned that, of course, I have friends in both parties. And
Yeah.
talking with a friend of mine, she said, well, yeah, I'm a Republican, so I have to vote for Trump. And I said, well, you believe on his saying, don't vote for the party, vote for the person. In what that person believe. I'm independent. So if I want to I like the person that was running for mayor in Miami, for example, I'm in Miami, and the guy is the Republican, and I believe what he's saying, and his communication and his propaganda, I will vote for that guy, regardless his party, because I'm voting for the person, not for the party. So I think that also that's a great message that we have to put outside. Believe in the person that goes with your values and your core.
Definitely.
No
That's a
for
good
the
one.
party. Forget about the party.
Something different as well. If they want to pass the message correctly, they need to walk the talk. Because if they say something and the action do not follow, people will not believe.
Correct.
People believe that you say something, you commit to it. And if you commit to it, I follow you. Otherwise, I follow someone else. And walking the talk, as you said, Pascal, quite often, you have to be an example. You have to lead by example. So if you say that we're going to do that, do it.
Yeah, the role model, right?
Yes.
So that we need more role models, less teachers. Huh? The well-known phrase that we use. But I have when it comes to role models, I have a question, because I heard that a lot of people ask from the Democrats to be more tough. Let's say it like this. If it's Bill Mayer or other people said you have to get your asses up and show the guys, and not be always nice and only say, oh, we're going to, and so this soft side, let's call it like this. And on the other side, everybody is telling now to Biden, it's good that he's so presidential and that he's reflective and that he's using it this way, his status that he has right now. But on the other hand, they were also cheering up, and I don't know what guy it was. It was also it was about the Congress, where he said you're a crook. It was against the Republican senator, where he was saying you're a crook and you did this and you did that, and they also said, oh, that's also good. So they're saying on one side, it's good to attack the people. The Democrats have to get their asses up and to fight with. You don't come to a gunfight with a sword. That's not what you do. So the Democrats have to toughen up. On the other side, they say, oh yeah, now he has to be presidential. And so what is it now? What is it now?
Well, I
Being
have
a
a
role
great
model.
well, to be a role model. But let me go back a little bit. I have the perfect example. Here in Miami, of course, where is a huge Latin America community, people, of course, Cubans and now Venezuelans, they really believe the propaganda that Trump campaign did about Biden and everybody else in the Democratic Party that being a communist. And because that propaganda was so strong, they lose Miami. They lose the Latino votes here because they don't want to go back to communism. What the Democratic Party did, they don't defend themselves like saying, no, we're not, because A, B, C, D, here are the facts. They were saying, like you say, no, we're not. No, we're not. Mm-hmm. And we lose 2 seats in the Congress because of that, going back to the Republican, because they don't have a powerful messages. So they have to really combine the message to get strong and to put it outside. And as Andrea said, to follow that message and to really stick to that plan so that people believe again in our leaders.
I think if I can add to that, you're totally right. I totally agree with you, Jeanette. But if you observe the Congress, if you observe the people that are in a democratic party right now, there is some good hope. Some good hope. If you take AOC, for example, and
I love it.
The old people around it, you don't like her. It's okay. Personally, I like her, right? But
I said I like her.
They are moving things, and they are not by different lobbyists or whatsoever. They speak their words, and these people got somehow a power, and they should use this power wisely. And so far, what I've observed of AOC and all the other ones that are around her, and the clique, the way they call them, they are not bought by any party or any lobbyists. And that's what brings my hopes. Not the fact that it's AOC or whatsoever. They are not bought by any party or any lobbyist. And that's what...
That is true. Mm-hmm. That is true. It's just that that part of the party is really on the stream. So they're, quote unquote, communist, socialist, because they have different and radical thoughts. So again, it's like about communication. I got that party together. Okay, this is going to be our unified message, and we're going to stick to it. So we have to be together, and we all have to have the same message.
That brings me to the last question I want to ask to the three of you, how you see that. Because when I hear, okay, they are communist or whatever, when you hear really what they ask for is actually how we do it in Europe. So I don't think that any country in Europe will say, okay, we are a communist country and we have these radical ideas. We already do this. And now my question is, when I hear that, yeah, and that these people are, put in that corner, make America great again, build back better. What is your prediction? How is that going to, this is still two sides of the medal. How is that going to run in the next weeks? And of course, what do you see happening in the coming months, and maybe also next year? How do you see that? And maybe we start with the youngest. So we start with Alexandre.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to come. I mean, I've got hopes, I've got wishes, I've got, but Biden is one thing, the Congress is one thing, but it's not enough. The Senate, if he's Republican, it will be 𝗕𝗂𝘇 until midterm. And if that doesn't change, nothing will change.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's not only one man. I mean, to have Biden as a president, cool, that's fantastic. He's going to give a direction. But if the Senate is Republican, just for the sake of it, they're going to go against it.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, there will be a statu quo that nobody will move. Oh, I want to do that. No, we don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And vice versa. So, I think they really need to change all things. If I could be I had that thought for Italy. I'm Italian, and the government in Italy is crap. If you want to change something over there, and I'm going to be radical, that opinion belongs to me, and I don't want that. Military should take over, dismantle everything, rewrite the constitution, like they did in Iceland. Iceland, the people says, no, we don't want this. We don't want this that way. We want to write the constitution again. And they did. And they did it well. And it worked. They went down for a while, economically speaking, politically speaking, whatsoever. Now they are very high. Why? Because they've rewritten it. Because all the constitution that exists, especially the one in the United States, 270 years old. We need to rethink the whole thing.
Thanks. Andreas, when you hear how, of course, Alexandre is saying, but how do you see that? What is your the Make America Great Again, Build Back Better? How is that balance working out?
Make America.
Look, we'll see what happens. I mean, I was just looking at the results right now, and currently the Republicans have 50 seats, Democrats have 48, which means there's still 2 seats up for grabs, which can change everything if America gets it. I think Georgia's the state that we're watching at the moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that will decide the future of the entirety of the American Parliament. Because Democrats, I'm assuming they always win the House of Representatives. It's always the Senate. But Democrats, they require all 3, President, Senate, and the House. Once they have all 3, everything can change. But unfortunately, with the way the Electoral College has worked out and everything, it makes it incredibly hard for it to work out. And it's a tragedy to begin with. But for the future, I mean, we'll have to see what Biden does in his first couple months, honestly. Are we going to be seeing like another, like the last Democratic president, like Obama? Are we going to have another one of those? Or could it be more extreme or not, you know? That's the thing. But things will change. And the good news is that they will change for the better, at least. I mean, because Biden has said immediately, like he said, first thing I get into office, I'm re-signing that Paris Agreement. I'm rejoining the WHO. Transgenders are actually people now, like basic stuff that should have been done. He's like, first thing I do when I get in, this is what I'm doing. I'm like, this is good. But we need to see what happens for the rest of his term as well.
Okay, thanks. And I didn't know that Joe Biden was playing in the WHO, but good that you say it. I have to check my old vinyl records again, where he's maybe on the cover. So it could be. He has the right age, huh? Well, you never know. Maybe he was a roadie at that time. You never know. But Jeanette, of course, I have a last question for you. You have now, so everything is going to be the same as it is right now. You have the first, a female vice president. There's also Asian American. I think she has also Jamaican forefathers, and actually, she comes from. She has the background of being actually could be the melting. She is an example for the melting pot in America, a very good one. Is that something? What could be the difference? What could make the difference in the development of the next months, weeks, months, and maybe even years? What do you think?
I believe so. Now, when COVID hit, we knew that not every day is the same day. Every day changes, like every week, every month. So now here, we have to really concentrate on the next week, on the next 75 days or 73 now days for the transition, if that's going to happen. So every day is going to be a new cycle of news. Is this happening, not happening? These people say this, these people say no. So there is hope. I think Kamala Harris are going to be a very good leader because it's a woman power. 2, her background is very interesting, coming from Jamaica and India, and she grew up here. She's a lawyer. She was a prosecutor in California, a very liberal state, and she have a very good idea. She is young. She's married with a Jew. She have kid from her previous relationship, and then she have kids with this new husband. I don't know how old they're married, but so yes, I think she's gonna make a very good. I hope, and we'll have a lot of faith on her ideas, on her driven, on how she is gonna help Biden on, to a good transition and to a good and modern government. Just to say that.
Well, that's
in Kamala Harris.
That's already good to hear, and also I liked really when they had the vice president this clash, Mike Pence and she was always saying, "Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking." So that was really brilliant to keep her her style and to keep also the emotions under control and still smiling and doing that. That was really powerful, showing actually what mothers, and there we have it again, and there we can make the circle around how they, because they are used to these kind of things, they're used to small children. And if you're honest, in the political parties, there are a lot of small children. And at least the infantile version of the masculine and feminine, but we're not going too much into that. But there you have that, and they can cope with that. And this is also, at least, let's see where it goes. It's going to get, Trump is involved, so at least it's going to get entertaining. That's at least he's going to do something for the media. He's going to keep them busy. Let's see where it's going. But on the long run, of course, I think it's another step. If you look at the last 100 years of America, I think it's another step of showing the division, but getting rid of it step by step by step by step, slow steps. So that's how I see it. It's another step in the way, you know. So I see it like this. When I see the last 100 years, how many steps America did already to get rid of this division, this is another step. So let's stay optimistic. Let's stay hopeful. I think everybody deserves that, also to get a fresh start. Thanks, of course, Alexandre, Andreas, for your insights. It's always good to have you, but a very, very, very big thank you to Jeanette in Miami to also share your insights with us.
Thank you for having me.
And
a pleasure. Thank you very much for your insights.
And with that, actually, that was the edition of today, Connecting Humans. Thanks everybody for watching. If you have any questions, and next week we're going to have a student edition. So we're going to. It's in 2 weeks. I'm sorry, Alexandre. Thanks. It's in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks we're going to have the student edition. So look, all the students that you get on. Andreas will be the big kahuna of the evening. He will be the guy who can ask us all the pain in the ass questions. So I'm really curious, of course, on how that goes. And then in December we're going to have a big Christmas edition where we're going to invite everybody who was live on the show. So Jeanette, also you were going to be involved in that, and we're going to have a talk about of course 2020, the challenging year. And then also what we can do in 2021 and to celebrate a little. So thanks everybody for watching, and see you in 2 weeks. Cheers to that.
Thank you.
Cheers to that.
Bye-bye.
Bye.